Let's get right into it. Have you ever had that weird thought that maybe the best, highest paying remote jobs are actually the most boring ones? It's a bit of a counterintuitive idea, right? But today, we're going to explore why the jobs that nobody's talking about might just be your golden ticket to a stable, high paying career in 2025. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Everyone seems to want to be a YouTuber, a famous streamer, or a travel influencer. But what if all those cool jobs, the ones everyone is chasing, are actually kind of a trap that just leads to insane competition and major burnout? And this, right here, this really breaks it down. On one side, you have the cool jobs. The reality? Absolutely sky-high competition. On the other side, you've got the boring jobs, the ones people just kind of gloss over, and that means they're almost always hiring. So instead of flashiness and burnout, you get stability and, believe it or not, a much bigger paycheck. It's time to open up the playbook for these unsung heroes of the job market. So here's our game plan for today, laid out like a championship fight card. First, we'll go over the rules of the game. Then we'll meet our first contenders, see how they're stacking up in a high-stakes mid-round, meet the final challengers, and finally, help you make your winning career choice. So how are we going to score this thing? Well, every single job is going to be judged on these 5 key criteria. We've got earning power, the actual money, the beginner score, how easy is it to get started, growth potential, where can this job take you, survivability, is it AI-proof, and of course, the big one, the freedom factor. All right, let's get this showdown started. All right, in this corner, our first contender, the short-form strategist. Honestly, if you've ever spent way too much time scrolling through TikTok or Reels, you might already have the basic skills for this. This isn't about being an influencer yourself. It's about watching long videos and being the brain who spots the viral moments and tells the editors exactly what to clip. It's pure strategy. Okay, let's go to the scoreboard. Earning power starts around 48 grand, which is pretty solid. But check out these other numbers. The beginner score is a massive 9 out of 10. That's because you're focused on strategy, not on complicated editing software. And that freedom factor, a 9.5. Clients just care that you get results, not whether you're working from Texas or Thailand. Next up, our second contender, the customer service coordinator. You know when you're dealing with an AI chatbot and you're just desperately typing, "talk to a human"? Well, in this job, you get to be that human. You're the crucial link between the automated bots and customers who are at their wits' end. And this role scores incredibly well. We're looking at a jump in earning power to $65,000. But the real showstopper here? That growth potential. A perfect 10 out of 10. Every single business needs this, but not every business can afford a giant in-house team. You fill that gap, which makes this role super valuable and easy to scale. And just like that, it's time for our first leaderboard update. After just 2 contenders, we've already got a real fight brewing. The customer service coordinator has jumped into the lead, taking the top spot for both earning power and that perfect 10 growth potential. The strategist is still holding strong in the other 3 categories, though. Okay, contender number 3 is the remote tech specialist. And let me ask you this. Are you the person your family calls to fix their iPad or explain how to unmute on Zoom? If so, this job is basically made for you. It's all about helping small businesses, especially ones run by older owners, set up all the modern tools and systems they need to be efficient. The scores here are really, really strong. $60,000 salary, fantastic growth at a 9.5. But just look at that survivability score, a 9 out of 10. Why? Because AI can't set itself up. It can't adapt to a specific business's unique needs. You become that essential human touch that makes all the tech actually work, which makes your job incredibly secure. Okay, you might want to brace yourself for this next one because our 4th contender, well, it's a little morbid, but I promise you the pay is anything but. It's the funeral sales specialist. This job isn't really about doom and gloom. It's about providing families with peace of mind by helping them plan for the future and protecting their loved ones from a ton of stress down the line. Wow, just wow. This is a total game changer. The growth potential is massive, but look at those other 2 scores. Survivability gets a perfect 10 out of 10. I mean, technology just cannot replicate the kind of human connection that this role requires. And the earning power, well, that deserves a moment all on its own. That is not a typo. $106,000 a year. And that's often just the starting point. Top performers in this field can make way more. This is, by a huge margin, the highest paying job we've seen so far. So yeah, it might be emotionally demanding, but the financial reward is absolutely undeniable. All right, let's head back to the leaderboard and see the mid-game shakeup. The funeral sales specialist has just come in and completely seized control, taking the top spot for both earning power and that perfect survivability score. We have a new heavyweight in the ring, folks. Next up, we've got a job for all you detail-oriented people out there, the statistics validator. You know when you see an ad that says 9 out of 10 dentists recommend this, and you kind of wonder who actually checks that stuff? Well, this is the job. You're the one who fact-checks those big, bold marketing claims to make sure companies don't get sued into oblivion. So how does it score? Well, it's a little harder to get into, which is why the beginner score is a 6. But, and this is a big but, look at that growth potential. Another perfect 10. As companies get more and more paranoid about getting hit with massive lawsuits, the demand for this skill is just going to keep going up and up. It's now tied for the lead in that critical category. Okay, contender number 6 is the remote setter. You see all those online coaches and influencers selling their courses? They all need one thing more than anything else: someone to fill up their calendar with sales calls. You're that person. You're the one hopping into DMs, asking the right questions, and scheduling qualified people to talk to the sales team. Now, this is a seriously powerful combination. A huge earning potential of $84,000 a year, and it now ties for the best beginner score at a 9 out of 10. A lot of these companies will actually train you from scratch, making this one of the most accessible, high-paying roles on our entire list. And now for our final challenger, the content risk reviewer. But I have to give you a heads up here. This job is not for everyone. You are essentially a digital gatekeeper. Your whole job is to make sure that a brand's advertisements don't show up next to really inappropriate or disturbing content online. It's an absolutely vital role, but it definitely comes with some emotional baggage. So, let's look at the final scores. A very strong $80,000 salary. But the headline here is that perfect 10 for survivability. Platforms like YouTube have literally tried using AI for this job and failed miserably, having to switch back to human moderators. Why? Because with 720,000 hours of new content uploaded every single day, AI just can't keep up. And that's the final bell. Here is our final leaderboard. And what's really clear is that there's no single dominant winner that swept every category. The funeral sales specialist absolutely crushes it on earning power and ties for survivability. If you need an easy way in, the remote setter and short-form strategist are your champions. And for future-proofing your career, you have 4 different jobs leading the pack. So, what does all this actually mean for you? It's pretty simple. If your number one goal is the highest pay, the funeral sales specialist is the undisputed champion. If you need an easy entry point to get started, you're going to look at the remote setter or short-form strategist. If you're prioritizing being AI-proof, the content risk reviewer and funeral sales specialist are your safest bets. It all just comes down to what you value most. At the end of the day, there's no single best boring job. There's only the best one for you. We've laid out all the data and we've crowned the champions for each and every category. So now, the choice is yours. The stats have spoken. The only question left is, what will you prioritize?